It's the Somebody Show. I said it really loud that time.
Yeah. There's almost a hint of a like Scottish thing there too.
It's the Somebody Show.
You've done that before.
Have I done that one?
Yeah, I hated it the first
time. What about that? It's the Somebody. Now I've done that one too. Shit, I can't. I'm not a.
Do your Bosnian accent. Remember what
It's the Somebody Show. Is that a good Bosnian accent? We have a show we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm excited. And we didn't mention this on a couple episodes, so please subscribe to the show. There's a little tiny small icon in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen as you're watching this right now. Yep. And if you hover your mouse over that, or you touch it with your finger, or if you're watching on a phone, then you'll be able to subscribe. And it doesn't cost you anything, and we won't bother you with notifications unless you do the ring the bell. Unless you want to be bothered, and then every episode that airs, you hit the bell, and then it'll say, "Hey, Sean and Chris is doing another show. You should watch it."
Yeah, or not,
or not. Don't for seconds. So, Sean, I've been thinking about this a lot. Okay. Our most viewed show was with our guest Richard Lynn. Nothing against any of our other guests. We love you all, but he has over 1,000 views.
I sure have that.
Right, and our average is like 100 views, maybe ish.
20-ish.
Yeah, okay.
Depending on how many times my mom watches, it's like 100.
I'm gonna get into that. Not your mom. I'm not going to get into your mom. Wow.
I was already there once.
Dark and adult rated. You were there. You were there.
Yes, I spent some time.
That's an old joke. To open the show with this, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it anyway. As a kid, I loved this joke. You ever had a vagina wrapped around your head? And most young boys are like, oh, no, yeah. I'm like, well, you can have your mom's vagina. And then my one friend said, no, I was born cesarean, and my mom died. So thanks a lot. That got dark. Wow, sorry. All right, way to open the show. We were like, turn off, unsubscribe. So, because Richard Litton's show got so many views, I've been doing thumbnails, because on YouTube you're supposed to make these little catchy thumbnails that are either clickbait, which is what we do, or something that's going to like really encapsulates what your episode or show or channel is focusing on. So with his episode, he was a Bosnian peacekeeper, and so I thought,
spy.
Spy. So and we talked about it on the show. So I said, super spy ? Right? So I'm convinced that the spy thing is big on YouTube.
Okay.
So our new thing is we're not going to change the show to the spy show. But it's the Somebody Show, but I feel like all of our guests probably in some way are spies.
Should be Harriet the Spy.
Harriet something.
Is that a movie?
Spy Kids.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's all going to be I theme thumbnails from here on out.
I like it. The studio audience is having an issue with Archie eating.
Well, Archie is,
paper towel.
I guess he's a cast member. He's not a studio audience, right?
Right.
Yeah, Archie's a cast member. We have a guest today.
Yeah,
that's right.
This is not a nobody show.
Not a nobody show. We got a somebody. Yeah, he's here with us. Show. It's a he. I just spoiled it. Let's go to commercial and we'll bring out our guest. What do you say? Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I got nothing.
I didn't think so. I mean, that was enough. And everyone's laughing at home because you just said that. Like, oh, Sean's so funny. He said he has nothing to say, and it's just enough of it. All right, we're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back.
When it comes to building tough, dependable cars at America's most affordable prices, Yugo leads the way. Others are trying to follow, but can't match Yugo's reliability for the price. Now Yugo leads with a 4-year, 40,000-mile warranty. And for 1 year or 12,000 miles, all you pay for is the gas. That's peace of mind. That's confidence. That's Yugo. For your nearest dealer, call 1-800-USA-YUGO. Yugo, committed to building the toughest, most dependable cars a little money can buy.
We're back from that commercial, which you just watched and loved. We're going to bring out our guest now.
Okay, please.
Interesting guy. Friends with him.
Yeah, I've known him like 35 years.
I just met him a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah. So, our next guest today is full of piss and vinegar, which is also a new Lay's potato chip flavor. Please welcome Robert Ian Rumnock. That's right. Woo!
Hello. No shake. Go to the head up. Shake up.
Dancing to the music. It's not playing.
Shake up. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it smells good. It smells good. Oh, thank you so much. I didn't shower for the last couple days. So I try to do that for my guests so they have and they can really smell the funk.
Understood.
Instead of hearing the funk, they smell the funk. It's my thing. I've never said that before, ever. Yeah, this is our cheat sheet whiteboard, so if you need to remember to talk about
I heard
anything,
about
it's
that.
right there.
Awesome.
I did one of my punked episodes, because this show, Ian, is about me. I don't know if you know that. You're punked somebody show, but you're okay. I just tell stories about myself.
All good. I like it.
I was on Punked, and we punked Rachel Bilson from OC.
OC, yeah.
Okay. And I was playing a
No
water.
idea who that is.
No, really?
Brown-haired
Really
girl. You would
petite.
know her if you saw her.
Yeah.
Very cute. Maybe.
But I was playing a water, a city water guy, because her dog had gotten out, like Archie, and had run across, and a mail truck had hit a fire hydrant, and there's water everywhere. So they're blaming her for her dog causing all this water. And I tell you this story only because one of the things I thought would be funny, because I was going to be doing a lot of close talking with her, is that I ate a lot of Vienna sausages right before I did the episode. So it's like really had like Vienna sausage mouth. And she never mentioned it. She was very polite.
Vienna sausage. What is that? Is that a different smell or
like,
just?
Those are the mini, they're like the mini hot dog things.
I had
Okay.
wiener mouth, I like to call it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Actually, I've never said that before either. Wiener mouth.
Speaking of wiener, Archie, drop it.
Yeah, I clearly don't have a dog. I had the paper towel. She's like, "You gonna leave that there?" And the dog got it. And yeah, haven't had a dog in a while.
You haven't? Yeah. You're here on the show.
I am. Yeah,
You're with
we're
us.
live. Yeah.
Yeah, you. Wow.
Sean's first friend on the show.
Ever.
All right.
Only
First friend.
ever,
Only
We
friend.
were joking, only friend. We were joking last night that it's kind of an accomplishment in itself to be Sean's friend.
Yes,
he doesn't like a lot of people.
That's
so.
true. Yeah.
And for that duration of a friendship is even more impressive.
Yeah, you guys were like crib friends, or no? When did you guys meet?
Elementary school.
Yeah,
Elementary
first grade
school?
probably.
Okay.
Kindergarten, first grade. I mean, we.
But you started elementary school like 2 weeks out, right? Like you were like 2 weeks old. You started at school as like a savant.
Yeah.
And you like came out of the womb talking like, "Hey, mom, when do I start school?"
Never out.
All right.
I was also thinking, you should give out gas cards instead of T-shirts.
Oh,
to your guests,
yeah, because it's a long ways to drive.
I got lost like 3. I used to be an Uber driver. I'm fairly good with roads. I missed 422 twice.
Wow, you're an Uber driver?
For like a 6 months to a year, yeah.
We have an Uber driver
In
on
the
the show.
hood, yeah,
Well, former
yeah.
Uber driver.
Hood,
Do you have good
neighborhood,
things
everywhere.
to say or bad things to say?
I had one semi-bad experience, yeah.
Uber's one of our
Taxi cab
sponsors.
confessions.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, everyone was very friendly.
Yeah.
Drunk couple one time, no vomit. A couple people passed out, but never vomited. I had a couple in like West Philly who were clearly inebriated, but hey, good for them for not driving.
Did you hear the
Maybe they
story
didn't have a
about
license,
the guy,
but-
I think it's like in D.C., gets in drunk and he's like, take me home. And next thing you know, he wakes up in New Hampshire.
Whoa.
Because I guess he had told the guy in a drunken stupor
The wrong
where his home
address.
was.
Oh, baby.
It's like an $800 Uber.
I've had that happen too. Somebody, as I'm driving to the location, they enter the location.
Yeah.
So it's not the driver's fault.
Right.
You tell them where you want to go,
absolutely.
and then you go. And she starts, she was very nice about it. This wasn't the bad incident, but she's like, where are you going? Where are you going? I'm like, I'm going where you told me to go. That's the whole point of Uber. I actually drove for Lyft. Technically Lyft.
Oh,
yeah.
Lyft. Oh,
I have an older car, and Uber's regulations were a little more strict. I still drive the 07 Honda Accord. So
you fart a lot in the car, right? And Uber has a strict policy against farting in the car?
possibly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Lyft is like, fart as much as you want.
I guess Uber tries to be classier. They want you to have a newer model car. Yeah. Speaking of driving, I'm driving here, and that college hunks hauling junk.
Yes.
Man, not to be mean, I'm not the fittest man ever, but
They weren't hunks?
it was just one guy. I guess he was walking to work. He could just have a sweatshirt, but he was wearing a college hunks hauling junk sweatshirt, and man, he was not a hunk.
Not a hunk?
Well, maybe
he was hauling junk, but not.
Maybe he was all the hunks put into one person.
Yeah,
Like
I was just
they
thinking, like, man, you hire this company, and this guy shows up. You're like, I don't know. This isn't really.
Some poor lady's gonna end up disappointed. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a great,
Just a tidbit. I thought about that on the way over.
great plumber down where my mom lived in Florida, plumbing company. That their billboard is like a supermodel kind of billboard of all the plumbers and their plumbing belts on, saying like, "Hire us. This is what you get." And it's just regular plumbers. Like they're not hunks at all.
Right,
They're
right.
just,
Okay.
not that regular plumbers are bad, but
Sean's brother.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Not a
good guess.
Not a good plumber though.
Yeah.
Apparently.
For the NC-17.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little X-rated.
We had a good time in New Orleans. I like
Yeah.
that guy.
Speaking of NC-17.
Sean had a horrible time in New Orleans. That's not totally true.
But that also doesn't surprise me.
cruise,
based on
he had a
the
horrible
kind of
time.
stuff
Not New Orleans.
Sean is into. Thank you for coming, because
Yes,
we
sir.
actually have kind of an important thing to talk about today. I mean, definitely important to you and to a lot of people out there.
It's
and,
my daily grind, if you will. Yeah. So
No.
first and foremost, Calvin, Patrick, Minecraft.
Look at that. My
Every
son-
time we watch
my
the
son
show,
plays.
he points that out. Yeah. So April is Autism Awareness Month. So my wife and I have 2 kids. My daughter is telling him the story last night on the spectrum.
Okay.
I actually work with autistic adults as well.
Okay.
But in the first meeting we had at work, I called my daughter. I said I have an autistic daughter, and that offended somebody there who didn't have an autistic kid, but they work with autistic kids. They said, she literally cut me off mid-sentence. We were doing a little light intro thing, and she said, actually, it's on the spectrum. And I was like, actually, it's my daughter, but okay.
Yeah.
She's a nice lady. It was just like, you know, she was, it's one of the things, I don't know, I guess like.
Yeah, people get offended by a lot of stuff these days.
But I kind of related to like being black and be able to say the N-word. Yeah. You know, I have an autistic daughter. Can I just say my daughter's autistic? No.
Yeah.
Now I need you who do not have an autistic kid telling me how to, what way to describe my daughter.
You know, I've started defaulting to, is I hate that people get offended by so much stuff. I just started defaulting to, if it offends you, I'll do my best to try.
Yeah, and also what we have Pete.
Cancel culture.
He talked about.
He was great. I love Pete. You know, conspiracy stuff.
Well, he also said, but he also said something about like
the Malcolm X.
Yeah, being thrown by
the Rock. If you throw the Rock and get hit, then there's
man, Pete was great. Anyway, so we have an autistic daughter, nonverbal. I'm gonna do a cheap promotion.
No, please.
So she'll be 8 in May.
They grow up fast.
They sure do. She's tall as hell too. But long story longer, she was quote unquote neurotypical till just about 3 years old. My wife got
neurotypical.
Neurotypical is a nice way of saying not
normal.
Yeah, not normal. Yes, exactly. Okay. Not challenged in any way.
Okay.
Anyway, so about my wife is pregnant with our little guy, our son. We have a son and a daughter, and slowly but surely she started losing language. No motor skills, but just generally regressing as a whole. So as a parent, that was beyond scary, frightening. It's our first kid. Yeah. So it got to the point where it was not just regressing, it started being acting out behavior, just frantically. I mean, I came in, it's so hard to describe. But I call them meltdowns, but that wouldn't even be giving them justice. It's like, this would go on hours on end, hours on end, yeah. So, and she would eventually just be so exhausted, she would just fall asleep. Wow. And it could be 2 p.m., 2 a.m. We're trying to get her on a school schedule, and it just was a complete nightmare. So
how old was she when she got diagnosed?
We didn't get her actually technically diagnosed, I think just after 3, maybe 3.5, but
yeah, she used to.
We brought my son. I know my son was born when we got her diagnosed.
She was very, because she used to mimic Peppa Pig.
Yes.
On holiday, we'd be up to be on
Ben and Holly, so she'd speak with an English accent.
Yeah, she had an English accent.
We had videos. I mean, she sang songs. I mean, from all accounts, looking back, it's hard to say like, oh, did I see signs? With your first kid, you don't.
And it was the first, like you were the first of our friends to have kids. Yeah, like, it's not like we were like around a bunch of. So there was no baseline for us.
Yeah. No one was like, hey, you should
something's off.
Maybe get her checked out. Right. She should be saying more. She should be doing this more. But she beat my son to like every milestone: walking, talking, you name it, anything. But yeah, right around 3 years old, started regressing. So we went and saw a neurologist. They diagnosed her. So I do recommend that to any parent who may or may not think their child has an issue. Early intervention is like the best thing possible for sure. Yeah. As far as funding and as far as improving your kid's overall life, earlier the better.
Speaking of which, you brought this.
Yes. We'll go into that story, but we went and saw a neurologist and started doing therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. We're just trying everything. We did a bunch of research. We saw this doctor right out here on the main line. I forget exactly where, but he started getting her on this not paleo diet, but keto diet. They have a lot of gut issues. Yep. Yes, the gut volume is for some reason, autistic kids, their gut is kind of F from the get-go.
I had some friends whose son was autistic, and
it was?
Yeah, or is. Sorry.
See, here we go.
Spectrum.
No, you can say autistic.
I haven't seen them.
There's no cure for autism.
So I say was
I'm kidding.
Tense for my relationship
I'm being
with them.
a dick. That's all good.
But no. But he they keto diet. I definitely remember.
So we tried that, but another thing.
The fad.
Gluten-free.
We tried all that. He gave us tons of medicine, like some iron pills, and it might have been a kook doctor to be honest. But he had autistic kids as well.
Yeah.
Had.
He has. There you go. See, that's what happens. He has this doctor. I forget his name, sadly, but he has. Thank you. Currently, they're still alive. I guess. Yeah, unless they were dead, they wouldn't have had.
Getting dark again.
Yeah, but he had success with this diet supposedly. Okay. But they call it the spectrum because some kids are up here, Rain Man or whoever you want to say, like genius. Some kids are way down here. I think my daughter's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
She's very. I don't know, I call her mid-functioning or high-functioning. She doesn't speak, really. But if you press her on it, what color is this, what color is this, and force it out of her, she'll tell you. But so she does have some communication and candy or some, I don't know, just random things she knows, just here and there. But
what kind of interest? Does she like to draw, or does she like music?
Likes to draw. Yeah, it's hard to say, man. She is almost 8, but she's probably like, this is the whole spectrum talk as well. So like intellectually, I don't know where she is. Like she kind of acts like an infant a lot of times. Not infant, but maybe a 2-year-old. But you know, younger than her age. Let's put it that way. So anyway, long story longer. It's a daily battle, and it's crazy. But definitely, if you have any issues, anybody, or think you see any signs, definitely try to get it checked out right away. Not that, you know, there's no cure as of now, but yeah, the earlier the better. Just as far as like funding too, like government pays for everything. So yeah, because it gets expensive quick.
Now that's somewhat controversial too, right? The cure concept, right? Isn't there some controversy about whether they want a cure, or there's like a
race for the cure? Isn't that cancer?
Yeah, no, but just the idea that like there's definitely some advocacy groups, it seems like now, that are pushing for the idea that being autistic is like being deaf. Right? It's part of your identity or who you are.
Well, I guess the
same thing with Down syndrome. Like now they've said like. You know, it's just, embrace it rather than...
It is who they are. It is who,
Now, I love that philosophy. And if you have a super high functioning kid, you probably had that philosophy. But if you have a very low functioning kid, which I don't consider my daughter low functioning, you give her any command, she'll pretty much do it. She generally, can do most things.
Right.
She's able-bodied. I mean, there's something called Rett syndrome, which is terrifying. It's kind of autism and like MS as well in kids. They lose all motor functions. That is... I've heard of people having that, and we got her test for that. Thank God she did not have that. But so yeah, we saw this doctor, and we tried a bunch of different things, but it's hard to get a then 5.5, 6-year-old to everything you used to eat before. We're not eating that anymore. Now you're eating all this stuff, and it tastes like crap. There's no gluten free. Come on, she's a kid. Like that didn't work out. So we did a bunch more YouTube research, and we were just trying everything. And I was a big pothead in high school. I actually quit my senior year of high school, which is another story. I went to my senior year twice.
Can we go to commercial real quick?
Yes.
We're going to come back and talk about that?
Sure thing.
I mean, not the pothead, you being a pothead, but I have a feeling I know we're going. We'll get there.
Full circle.
So we're going to do a commercial for marijuana. And speaking of international crimes,
we're back.
That was an off-camera conversation. It had nothing to do with the first segment or that marijuana commercial that we just watched. I don't know. Were you marijuana?
Is your brain on drugs?
We did that one already.
Yeah.
Did we do brain on drugs?
Yeah, we did.
We did. That was okay. All right. So speaking of drugs.
Yep. Speaking of drugs, so we tried a bunch of different things: a diet, therapy, which we still do, but I don't know if we were YouTubing something, my wife and I, and we found this lady, Erica Daniels. My wife saw a special about it, I think it was.
Well, you were smoking a doob, probably, so
no.
You don't remember what you were doing.
I quit smoking when I was 18.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I quit
just edibles now.
Quit for 18 years. Yeah, I do dabble now, but not dab, which is a different weed thing. No, dab's a...
Under the tongue.
Different weed thing.
Yeah, but that's where it comes from, right? Like Cam Newton started that because it was a weed thing.
Oh, what?
Right? Yeah, but now all the kids do the dab, whatever.
But doing a dab is it's like waxed weed. Just Google it. It's weird. I don't do it.
Stop watching right now.
Needle, our buddy Needle. Shout out to my buddy Needle with the dabs. Anyway, so we found this lady, Erica Daniels. She also has an autistic son, and she co-created this here. Hope, her website is Hope Grows for Autism. Hope and grow as in medical marijuana growing.
Yep.
So this was kind of our lifesaver, so in between, like I said, 3 and 4.5, our life was absolutely miserable. We had a newborn, a son, and then our daughter was just miserable pretty much 23 hours of the day. Yeah. So we tried CBD, which is marijuana without the hallucinogens, and didn't help at all. It helped for 5 minutes and actually made the symptoms worse. I don't know why. I'm sure some kids are great with it.
You could actually be allergic to CBD, I think, right? Isn't that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
This stuff has a little bit of CBD in it, but it's more
THC.
high. Yes, high functioning. No pun intended. Yeah, exactly. So this is the Hope 1. These are older bottles, but this is the Hope 1, which is a 1-to-1 ratio CBD to THC.
Okay.
Our daughter takes this, the Hope 2. So this is probably for more extreme cases of autism. I think especially behavioral issues. So yeah, I mean, we went to a big event out in the main line, and you know, a couple parents spoke and stuff. My wife and I went and just, you know, they were just talking about how they can like semi lead a normal life again, like they could go on vacation again, and like, because literally like our daughter, the way she was, you couldn't hardly leave the freaking house, let alone like vacation. Don't even think about that. You know, you're literally, she would be kicking and screaming and crying, and like, I can't even describe it. It's like a rage cry. I really can't describe it. We have videos of it. It's frightening. But
Sean does it after every episode.
I actually thought about doing like a YouTube channel about autism. I should have started like 3 years ago. But anyway, this 5 to 1 like literally saved our lives. So Erica Daniels, thank you.
So what is in this that, I mean, is it, so it's, again, it's
called a tincture, yes. I don't know the exact process. But
so what makes this different than me just going and you know, getting, you know, because now
flour,
right? Yeah. Is it? It's just, or is it just
process? I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really know.
Is it just a marketing thing, and it's just like they make it try to?
Well, the tincture is great for kids too, because obviously Lucy can't light the bong up either and smoke. But yeah, I don't know exactly. I think they press it and make an oil out of it. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. Very affordable. This is maybe $50, and it's 30 mLs, and she takes a minimal portion. So this would last you 2 months easily.
So this kind of brings up a topic that I feel pretty strongly about, but the idea of legalizing marijuana has been something that I've never been a pot smoker either. Like
I heard you said it before.
I have tried it a couple times and just didn't like how I felt when I did it.
I could tell a story about my
paranoia.
We'll say that for
that's its own show.
Next time.
That is a tremendous show. We went to see Artie Lang at my brother's bachelor party. That is tremendous story. Go ahead. Sorry.
But the idea of legalizing it, people are always saying, "Oh, you just want to legalize it so people can get high all the time." Like, no, if you legalize it, you allow scientists to do research on something that they're not really allowed to do much research on right now legally.
Well, and especially now with the opium crisis, I think, like, you know, you hear all these athletes that are, you know, the marijuana is.
You say opium? Opiates.
Opiates, sorry.
I'm like, wait, opium? There's a crisis of opium?
There was at one point back in the 1600s with the...
India, China, perhaps. Yeah, I was like...
Yes.
Opioid, yeah.
Opium is an opioid, though,
Opioids,
right?
Opioid, opiates, yes.
Yeah, my mom was heavily addicted to Oxycontin. Not fun. Not fun at all.
Yeah, that's a bad one. But yeah, again, that's a legal drug, right? And so,
but much worse for you.
Yeah, and alcohol is legal and
horrible for you.
Much worse for you. Yeah.
Yes.
So the idea of like legalizing these, even like psychedelics, like they're pushing hard to like legalize LSD.
Erica Daniels, the same gal who created this, is in I don't want to say cahoots, but in workings with another guy who explores that angle of it. Psychedelics,
and in the 1920s, I want to say, like there was like a lot of clinical, you know, usage
trials,
for like in the wild usage of like psychiatrists giving LSD to patients to help with their like
I think they do
psychosis or
I think they use it a lot now for post-traumatic stress, right?
PTSD. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's weird. You can actually get a medical marijuana prescription if you were hooked on. No, I can't think of the word. Hello.
Opiates?
Opioids. Yeah, opioids, not opium. Yes, you can actually get a medical marijuana prescription to get off of hardcore drugs or hardcore, you know, oxys.
Right. And not to go too deep down the conspiracy theory, but like it is said, from what I understand, that around the 1920s, 30s, when like reefer madness, and then maybe the 1940s, when that came out, and they started making this hard push against
shitting on it, scaring people,
and
saying you're
creating the schedule for drugs, and that was apparently came from, at the time, they started realizing that hemp was super useful for
Joe Rogan talks about it every episode. It's great.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
And so all these lobbies, the lumber lobby, the petroleum.
They're going to lose money.
Cotton.
Textile mills.
Alcohol, like all the companies, like all these massive companies were making so much money back then. We're like, wait, this one product?
Exactly. Lasts forever. Yes. Yeah, hemp was amazing.
Whoever the president is, we have some money to give you to make sure this gets made.
Sadly, everything comes down to money in some sense,
improperly aligned incentives in the world we live in, unfortunately. But
so this is a godsend. A godsend? Godsend? Yeah.
If you buy into that kind of thing, sure.
Yeah, I'm not a religious guy at all, but that literally saved our lives. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we'd be without that. So, she's still, like I said, it's a lifetime thing. It's not curable, so there's ups and downs. It's literally the craziest roller coaster ever. And some people, like I said, some people are like, oh, like embrace it, da da da, like, you know, and we do our best, but you know, it's when you're living with it day in, day out, it's easy to say that, but not so much easy to do it.
Right, and speaking of embracing it, you have embraced it, I would say, to an nth degree in the fact that you're not an Uber or a Lyft driver anymore.
Yeah,
you have a new occupation that has to do with...
year and a half, year and change. I work with adults with autism now, or any kind of disabilities, but yeah, so I, lady started a company, Nancy Jalen.
Hi, Nancy.
Great gal. She'd be a good guest. She'd be a good guest. She started a company, the center at Hampton House. I've been there about a year and a half or so. But I take clients out and kind of show them the world.
Kind of like a big brother, big sister
big
type
brother,
thing?
yeah. I did job training stuff. I go to their, that's how I started doing job training. Going to their job, help them how to, teach them their job and teach them how to be, quote unquote, normal around other people.
Sure.
That's the biggest problem with a lot of autistic kids, even high functioning guys and gals. They, you know, just the way their mind works is totally different than the way our minds work. Yeah. So it's interesting, but
I almost think
I think it's rewarding, but you know,
we need some education for the general public to understand how to be normal around people that maybe have something.
It's way more prevalent now. It's insane. I'd say 1 in 48, I think, males are not labeled or diagnosed autistic, and then it's way more rare in females. So that's why we kind of even had doubt with our daughter. Like I don't even know. I don't know any more autistic females. Yeah. I mean, they're out there obviously, but I never met one. I met tons of autistic boys and men, but not girls. Yeah. So
fascinating. There was something else we were going to talk about after we talked about the. There were stories. They were like, wasn't there? Oh, your dad. We were going to talk about your dad.
Dad's an actor, just like you?
Well,
formerly?
Yeah.
Formerly known as?
Is your dad still
a working actor?
He's a working actor,
Not me. This is all free.
He moved to Los Angeles in '97, so.
Okay. I was there in '95.
Okay, where'd you live?
I beat him. I started in Venice, sleeping on my buddy's couch. Oh. And then I moved into Hollywood and kind of stayed in the Hollywood area. Okay. Although I bring that up, people sometimes say, Hollywood's not a city. Like, I know it's not a city, it's an area, and it's easy to say.
Easy to describe, yes. Yeah, relatable. Yeah, he's in Echo Park. Still, he was there the whole entire time.
I lived in Echo Park for a while.
It was a shithole, and then it came full circle. Now it's beautiful,
I lived in Los Feliz, actually, which is kind of adjacent.
Okay. Yeah, he's like a mile from Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Chavez Ravine. Yes, we walked there.
Okay.
Before I had kids, and we used to go there and have fun.
Nice.
Thanks, kids.
Get out there and visit him. Before
we haven't been. We used to go all the time, but I actually took my daughter out when she was 6 months. That was the last time I was there. So it's been 7 years, 7.5 years. Yeah. So yes, he's in the biz. He does a lot of the Seinfeld work where Kramer and
the medical
little guy, he does a lot of that.
Fake issues.
Kaplan University, USC, UCLA as well. I think he does great with that. Yeah,
Fallen is probably his biggest.
He got capped up by Denzel Washington.
Denzel kills his
He taped that in like '95, '96. I remember he dropped me to high school and I was reading the lines. I was reading the Denzel lines to my dad.
That's great.
Yeah, practicing, getting them to the lines. Yeah, it's interesting. He's a great guy. So great guy.
Denzel or your dad?
Don't know Denzel. My dad, yeah, for sure, yeah. So.
Do you know Will Smith? No.
Nah.
I couldn't resist.
Yep.
That was too topical for this show. We don't do topical stuff, generally.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it was awesome. Is there anything else you want to kind of go over? I always like to try to make sure that we didn't miss anything.
We got 30 years is all we got,
35 years
That's all we got,
All right, year one, go. We'll get through all 30 years.
This was the first grade. Probably. Kindergarten, first grade.
He was a bully, man. This guy was a bully, yeah.
Year 2, go.
Still a bully.
Okay.
Still a bully.
Year 3, go. Punched him in the gut. Year 4.
Sports. Nah. Sports is probably where we can, hooping it up and badminton,
baseball, everything.
Kickball,
Pocket hockey.
I feel like we were one of the first people to play poker too.
Yeah,
we played poker at an early age.
Not
first people. That's ridiculous.
In sixth grade, we were playing for change.
Were we playing Texas Hold'em or 5-card draw?
I think we were doing 5-card.
Yeah,
5-card draws we all started with as a kid. It wasn't like
so maybe we weren't so unique as what you're saying.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying the Hold'em thing came along as like a boom, crazy. Because I remember when Hold'em came out, I'm like, I like 5-card draw. I'll play this, and then I got totally sucked in.
Yeah.
Did you know the history of Texas Hold'em as to why it's you have the
tournament style?
No, it was formed in Alabama, right?
Yes. No, it was for like cattle ranchers out, and they had one deck of cards, and there's like a maximum number of players. Like it's like 20-something players can play because everyone only has their 2 cards, and then everyone shares, so there's 5. So it was a way to get everyone involved in the game with one deck of cards. Yeah, there you go. Texas Hold'em trivia.
Interesting.
On somebody show.
Anyway, back to my dad. Yeah, fantastic guy. But my brother has a horrible joke. I should have said that. Cut that part out. But sadly, my mom died in a car accident in 2006. Fiery, horrible, awful crash. She was an ER nurse, but I can't really get into that story legally because there was a lawsuit, and I'm literally not supposed to talk about who it was and how they messed up. I don't know. Maybe, probably, yeah. But it's a horrible joke. But so my mom dies in March of 2006, and my dad's living in California, and he flies out, and obviously it's his ex-wife. They were super friendly, even after they were divorced. And so my dad tells me 2 days later that the man he's been living in California with for 10 years is not just his roommate, it's his lover.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So my brother jokes that we lost both of our parents to flames in a 48-hour period.
That's a pretty aggressive joke to tell so quickly. Joke, but did he tell that years later, or did he tell that
2 days
in the moment?
Within probably 24 hours of my mom dying.
I mean, that's almost the definition of too soon.
I'm probably the only person who's ever had that happen to them.
It's the first time Ian's brother ever called me on my birthday.
That's
like,
a great
my phone rings. I'm like, oh, it's my birthday. My birthday is
day
the
after
day
my
after
mom
his mom died.
Yeah.
And his brother Zach called me. I'm like, Zach's called me to wish me a happy birthday? Like, that's insane. I pick up all, hey, buddy. He's like, my mom's dead. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I was working at Olive Garden on a Sunday night, and my mom's former ER coworkers came into the restaurant. I'm like, oh, great to see you. What are you doing here? I was my spring break from Temple. All excited for spring break. Had the week off and going to hang out with my buddy, and got the news around 8 p.m. So I had to be the bearer of bad news. So, but anyway, I'm very big into the gay community. I don't want to bash the gay community.
You hang out at like the bars all the time.
Yeah,
just, catch, getting some good conversation in.
No pun intended. My dad is like the happiest guy ever. Gay, happy, gay, happy, gay. No, he's in town. By the way, hi Dad.
You gotta
have him as a guest. He'd be great.
I know. I gotta work. We didn't find out. I didn't know. But he's a great he can talk for
way more fluent and natural than me. Yeah, he's tremendous. Yeah,
that's great.
Great guy, though, honest to God. Yeah.
Well, you've been awesome. This has been fantastic. And this again, like I was telling Sean, we've had a lot of guests with some pretty serious topics.
Not fun.
I mean, not fun, but also but it's like.
Did I say it's Autism Awareness Month or no?
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
April.
April. Okay.
But
this will air in May.
Womp.
But it's not something I ever thought we would do. But I'm happy that we're able to kind of at least
promote,
be a platform for stuff that hopefully our audience grows eventually. And
it's going to grow. Dan. Hope grows for autism.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Your show might grow for autism.
Yeah, there we go. Well, Ian, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, man. I'm going to stay and drink.
Absolutely. Lots of drinks. We're going to go to commercial, probably some alcoholic beverage. We're not going to have that. The commercial is going to be for an alcoholic beverage.
I'm going to have it. I'm going to have one.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, so we'll be right back. We're back.
We'll talk about that with Jack.
Yeah, Jack will love talking about genetically created eggs and sperm cells. It's an awesome. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad we were able to kind of share that with everyone.
I think these are everyday things that people do. I mean, especially. Yeah. So we do the best we can.
What are we going to talk about at the end?
We have we talk about the people that watch our show, and then we talk about the people that don't watch our show.
Oh, that's right. There we go. So I was on spring break with my kids and my family recently, and went and visited my mom and dad. And I've been sending my mom and dad links to the show. And they're like, oh, here's that latest episode. And not a ton of response. None from my mom. And my dad will occasionally be like, thumbs up, good job, And so I asked her when I'm down there, I was like, it's not a lot of feedback on the show. Like, I would assume that my parents might, give me some feedback. Or like, oh, why'd you have to do a show about that? Or like, oh, you're really good on that show, honey. But nothing. So my mom's like, I've never watched it. I haven't watched the show. And I'm like, Dad, have you watched it? And he's like, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've seen, some. So at least my dad clicks on them occasionally.
He lied to you. At least he lied to you. Your mother didn't.
Yeah. She was like, no, I watched the show. So we always joke about our mom's the only one's really pumping up the views.
And it was just my mom.
It's just your mom is like a crazy person that just keeps hitting watch.
I know she watches because she comments on everything, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Did I mention at the beginning of this episode about subscribing? Did we talk about the little thing in the lower right-hand corner?
I think we did, but you can say it again.
All right, yeah. And then we're doing TikTok now too.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll have some look out for the Somebody TikTok show.
Who's going to do that? Me or you?
Well, I mean, I think we're both going to be on it, right? Yeah.
I'm just
right?
saying.
Yeah. We're doing 5-word interviews.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So we started talking because my mom doesn't watch it. We should come up with some ideas as to like what
How we can get her to watch.
Yeah,
or
so
shows that she would watch more than she would watch ours.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a good idea for her, but the Screwdriver Show.
Like a drink?
No. Well, I guess we could talk about that, but I was saying like just the tool, and we would just talk about like specific screwdrivers, Phillips.
Your mother's into screwdrivers?
I'm not just saying that idea may not be appealing to her, but like here you're supposed to narrow the focus of the show, the topic.
That's
right?
why apparently nobody's watching is because we don't have topics.
Like very like focused topics that they can count on every week.
It's not that we're just not very good.
This week they're talking about Phillips. I've been waiting for the episode on Phillips screwdrivers. Do you know how long it took to invent a screwdriver after the screw was invented?
No, I do not. How long?
700 years. That is not a joke.
So the screw was invented 700 years before
the flat slit, the flathead screw.
And they were just using
other implements, tools, non-dedicated tools to drive those screws. 700 years later, someone was like, why am I using this? Why don't I just make a dedicated tool? 700 years is not a short amount of time.
Can we get rid of the flathead screw too? I mean, that's
ridiculous. Even Phillips sucks, man.
The star bit is where we go.
And the hex and the square. The square one is great for driving. Yeah. So anyway, so if you like screwdrivers, we don't have a show about that, but we have a show about somebody's. So anything else?
I got nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember, we love you all, and we can't wait to meet you all. Damn it, I messed it up. That wasn't even the right one. We're all somebody.
There you go.
And we can't wait to meet you all.
There you go.
The Somebody Show.
That's it.
Yeah.